Hi, I'm Stephen Orr. I'm the editor-in-chief of Better Homes and Gardens. Welcome to a celebration of holiday cooking. We're going to be going behind the scenes of something we're very proud of. This is the 17th edition of our Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, and as we affectionately call it, it's the Red Plaid. This cookbook is more than just a collection of recipes for so many families. It's a tradition, a common thread weaving through generations of dinners, celebrations, and holiday meals. So come behind the scenes with me and take a look at how this amazing cookbook comes together.
The first Red Plaid came out in 1930. I love the intro letters from that first cookbook. They're really speaking to the home cook as she was the business manager of the home. And it's funny, the format of the first book, it's not even plaid. If you stood it on its spine, then it's like a file folder. You inserted recipes into those categories. The magazine embraced that further because they started to publish recipes that had holes in them. So the page of these recipes that were meant to be cut out to put into your new cookbook were already ready to go.
It's just such a piece of Americana. When you look at how we've held home cooks' hands through, the Depression and how they were trying to figure out how to make the most with the money they had to spend on food. And during the 40s, how we helped readers stretch meat, save on sugar because of the war effort. When you look at the 50s and how market just exploded with all these fun new electric appliances like the hand mixer, the blender, the can opener of all things, and how pages of the magazine kind of helped people understand how to use these new appliances.
It did not turn plaid until 1941. That is probably when it just went bananas. And they'd already sold into the 2 million. Myrna Johnston, who was the editor at the time, she and Jack Barless, who was a consultant, they were out on their lunch hour in Des Moines. They saw the bolt of red and white plaid fabric. She just on a whim bought a yard of it and came back and wrapped it around the book, and that was how it took off.
The 80s, no one had any time. We changed our cake formulation, so everything was made in one bowl. But what happened was the cakes really weren't as good as they were from the editions that went back to the 1950s. I remember the day we tested probably about 10 different chocolate cake recipes because we wanted to make sure that the cake that we had in the cookbook was something people would be proud to make.
We just put all the flavor back in that book on the 12th edition. I will never forget that. I mean, we all were sitting around the table like, oh my God, where's the salt shaker? That was kind of a fun addition to bring back to life. That was a good one. Readers love this book. There's a huge emotional connection to this book because moms get it and they pass it down to their daughters. It's just not a book in it for most of us. So anyway, I'm getting choky. That's terrible. It's really, like I said, there's so much emotion behind it, a lot of great stories, so it's a good book.
It's really a fun way to kind of connect with people through food.
I think we know how important it is.
Well, this truly is a special book. It's unbelievable for me to be here today in the Better Homes and Gardens test kitchen. I actually brought my cookbook from home. This has been passed down 3 generations now, so this is something that means a lot to me and my family. And what is it like for both of you being here and doing what you love?
It really is a special place to work. We get to create recipes that go in fabulous cookbooks and magazines, so people can have success when they cook at home.
Absolutely. What's it like for you, Jen?
Oh my gosh, I love my job. We get to work with a lot of fun people to create food pages for the magazine, but we do look forward to redoing this, and this looks a lot different than your version.
I know, look at the difference. That's crazy.
Which I love because we really try to make the changes that work for today's cook so it stays relevant. So it's different, but there's a lot in here for the holidays and for every day.
1,200 recipes.
Yeah, a lot of recipes and some new ones that can be passed on from generation to generation. A lot goes on here at Meredith headquarters, so let's take a look behind the scenes.
We have 10 separate testing bays, and we test recipes for all of our publications.
This is where the buck stops because it has to work here, and it has to work in a kitchen similar to a home kitchen.
We test over 2,500 recipes in the course of the year. In 2017, we created over 1,000 food images. We easily spend over $100,000 on groceries in a year, and that's quite a grocery bill.
I count on them to tell us, wouldn't do it this way, it's too much work, or why not simplify it this way, or, we're having a hard time finding this ingredient.
The editors kind of build the ideas. They're planning for the issues and figuring out what's right for the season.
I have 4 editors that we work on food content for Better Homes and Gardens magazine, for the books that we publish, of course, for Red Plaid, and for all the newsstand one-off publications that we do. It's not just the recipe, but the images.
You have landed in the photo studio, and we do all of the fun things here to make everything beautiful and luscious for the readers. We work with food stylists, photographers, prop stylists. Our job is to make you flip the page and say, I want to make that recipe. And so this is where all the magic happens, in the photo studio. I've loved food ever since I was a child. Who doesn't? And who doesn't want to be a part of an amazing team of creative people every day?
The journey along the way is so much fun. I love the discoveries that you make as you test things.
And it's a thing of beauty. Food. You eat it, but it's pretty wonderful looking too, so.
Well, we are in the test kitchen, so when we come back, we are going to get our hands a little dirty and do some cooking.